Gun ownership is not an American tradition. That's a myth, like George Washington's cherry tree. Most Americans, going back to colonial times, did not own a gun, didn't even know how to shoot one. That's still true today. You heard expert testimony that redesigning the slide bolt of a Ralph 9 would add $27.64 to the manufacturing cost of a weapon that sells for $900. Mr. Weber knew that his gun was being bought for the purpose of being converted to an automatic weapon. His refusal to change the design is tantamount to admitting that its intended use was as an automatic weapon. Reasonable people can disagree about the Second Amendment. But this can't be what the framers of the Constitution had in mind. Of course, you must hold Dennis Trope responsible. He pulled the trigger. But remember, because of Mr. Weber's refusal to change the design of his gun, instead of firing this many bullets in the 30 seconds that he pulled the trigger, Dennis Trope was able to fire this many.
Was Mrs. Cullen confused, emotional, suicidal? This is what Melanie Cullen did. She stalked Alexandra Beckett. She had a key made to the new lock on Edward Cullen's apartment. She went there after dark, let herself in. She helped herself to the gun that she knew was there. She ran away. She disposed of the gun. She convinced her son to give her a phony alibi. She lied to the police. She lied to her son. She lied to you. She shot and killed 2 people in an act of cold and calculated murder. Don't let her get away with it.
Following the rules does not put you above the law. Just ask the Swiss bankers who appropriated the unclaimed accounts of Holocaust victims. Following the rules does not explain how someone who runs a bank could be so incompetent, so gullible. There can be only one explanation. Mr. Radford willingly turned a blind eye to what was obviously a criminal enterprise, and the Russian mob didn't have to cut off his uncle's hands to get him to do it. All they had to do was wave a fat commission in front of him. Now, some might think that money laundering is just some white-collar crime far removed from our everyday concerns. Let me remind you what money laundering is really about. Mr. Radford made his commission on the backs of these people. This country has always been a beacon to the world for liberty and justice. That's why we keep our borders open. But we're also a beacon for another kind of people, for criminals and con men. We rely on the law to protect us from them. Sometimes that's not enough. Do we need more law, less freedom? Do we cross out parts of the Constitution? I've learned that's not the answer. The answer is that each one of us is responsible to everyone else. Not one of us can afford to turn a blind eye. By respecting the laws we do have, by living up to the true meaning of the word citizen, we preserve our common good. Through his deliberate ignorance, Mr. Radford allowed a criminal enterprise to flourish. Innocent people to be killed. He allowed a cancer to grow. This is where it has to stop. Here in this courtroom. With you.
Julia Wood willingly joined Mr. C. Square in his limo. And yes, she willingly went up to his hotel room. And yes, she even thought of having sex with him. But to give her the benefit of the doubt, Mr. Clarence C. Square Carmichael is rich, and to some people in this courtroom, he's attractive. And of course, he's world famous. But Julia Wood did not ask to be thrown down on the bed. She did not ask to have her legs pried open. She did not ask to be pinned down and forcibly penetrated. Julia Wood said no. And whatever expectations she had going up to that hotel suite, once she got there, she changed her mind, and that's her right. But in Mr. C. Square's world, a woman's rights are of no consequence. Sex is an entitlement of his stardom. Julia Wood ain't a lady. She a bitch. An amusement. To be held prisoner and used until he decides that he's through with her. In our country, one of the fundamental rights is the right of any of us to say no. We do it in our religion. We do it in our politics and in our workplace. And in our world, when a woman says no and a man ignores her, that's rape in the first degree.
Make no mistake. These acts were an attack on institutions we hold dear. Their street fight was nothing less than an attempt to substitute their brand of justice for our system of due process. By bringing their fight to a public park and daring anyone to stop it, they would erode the public's confidence in the government's ability to protect its citizens. Their behavior meets the criteria of a terrorist act. Every day, we're subjected to public acts of violence. Bare-knuckle punch-outs in Union Square. Teenage girls battering each other on internet videos. No-holds-barred extreme fighting on prime time. It's violence you can't escape now. Violence that brutalizes us, excites us, and terrifies us. And we've seen what the end of this road looks like. It's a soccer stadium filled with people forced to watch men in black turbans conduct mass executions. And that's why you need to find these defendants guilty of what I concede is a severe charge. Because when we no longer believe we live in a safe society, then we live in terror.
Cecilia Knowles isn't here today because, as you know, she's in a coma. You haven't been told why she's in a coma. Mr. Garnett alluded to the reason. I'm going to tell you why.
Objection.
She did it in a desperate, crazed attempt to call attention to the fact that Mr. Taylor had gotten away with the murder of her sister.
I said sustained, Mr. McCoy.
She was so convinced of his guilt, she was ready to put herself in jeopardy to see this vicious killer brought to trial.
Mr. McCoy.
While she lies in a hospital bed, this court has seen fit to allow the defense to speculate about her state of mind.
That's enough.
And hold her up as a patsy for Mr. Taylor. And since this court doesn't have the guts to protect the rights of the weak and voiceless,
You're in contempt, Mr. McCoy.
it's for the jury to see justice done. And justice, in this case, is holding Ken Taylor, and only Ken Taylor, responsible for the death of Julie Gore.
That's it. I am declaring an immediate mistrial.
Oh, Your Honor.
Sit down, Mr. Garnett. You opened the door for this. Ladies and gentlemen, you are dismissed. With my apologies on behalf of counsel. We're adjourned.